Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to compare the Fuji X-T3 to the Fuji X-T4. We look at the main differences and the similarities between the two cameras, and I'm going to help you decide which camera you should get in 2021 and why. So let's start with the similarities. The shape and the size is almost identical. The X-T4 is a little bit bigger and it's a little bit heavier too, but it's not very noticeable. Both cameras feel amazing in your hand and they're like super premium quality. The rear buttons, ISO and shutter dial, focus mode switches are almost identical, and both cameras are weather sealed, and they both have 2 memory card slots. So when we're looking at the cameras, there are 3 major differences, starting with the most important one, the screen. Now the X-T4, you're able to position the screen in ways that it's visible from all angles. It's very convenient if you're planning to record yourself as well as record other people. But if you're planning to stay behind the camera for the most part, the X-T3 screen is perfect. And even if you want to record yourself, there's ways around it. You can use an external monitor, for example, or there's like mirrors you can put on the top of the camera, and that makes the screen visible. So yeah, there's solutions around it. Obviously it's not as convenient as the X-T4s, but still the resolution and the image quality is also a little bit better on the X-T4, but the viewfinder itself is identical. It's exactly the same in both cameras. So the second major difference is the video and photos switch on the X-T4. It's not only that it's a bit faster to switch, but on the X-T4 when you switch between videos and stills, the whole menu on the screen changes, and these menus are dedicated to video or still settings only, making it a lot more straightforward and easier to use. On the X-T3, however, it's one menu, it's kind of smushed together. Again, once you get used to any of these cameras, it's not going to be an issue navigating either of the cameras. So you can start with the X-T4 and then get an X-T3, and you have no problem whatsoever finding anything in the menus. It's pretty straightforward and it's pretty clean. And Fuji's generally better than other cameras in this regard. The third physical difference is also a major one, and in my opinion it was a mistake that Fuji made. They removed the 3.5mm headphone jack from the X-T4 and they replaced it with a USB-C to 3.5mm dongle cable which you can plug in your headphone. But there's an issue with that. So for example, if you're planning on recording for hours at a time and you want to do this with one battery only, you can plug in your 25-watt fast charger into your camera, and when the camera is turned on, it won't charge your battery. It will use the charger as the main power source, so you don't have to worry about battery life. But on the X-T4, you can monitor the audio in the same time because it uses the same connection, the same USB-C charger connection to monitor the audio. And that is a problem because you really should monitor your audio every single time you record. It can save your footage big time, so you never miss on that. On the X-T3, you can do this. I can confirm I've done a job recently where I had to record for 6 hours continuously, and I was able to plug in the camera to the charger, power up the whole thing, and monitor the audio at the same time because it does have a separate 3.5mm connection, so it worked flawlessly, and I was very impressed with the performance. The battery after 6 hours, it didn't drain anything. It was almost fully charged, so yeah, very good. X-T3. And by the way, just to mention here quickly, the maximum recording time on both cameras is 30 minutes. It's going to stop at 30 minutes. And if you want to find a way around it, then you can use an external monitor and record continuously as long as you like. But that's another investment, of course. Now let's talk about the battery life. The X-T4's battery is amazing, but it's very expensive. It lasts more than twice as long as the X-T3's, but it costs twice as much. So there's a balance to be found in there. And the X-T4 doesn't come with an external battery charger, meanwhile the X-T3 does. That's a huge difference if you want to purchase that separately, and most reviewers would advise you to use an external charger rather than plug in your camera itself. In order to increase battery life, you can use battery grips on both cameras, and you can also plug in an external charger into both cameras. But an important side note here, you have to make sure that you get the right one. I made the mistake of purchasing a too powerful external battery charger, 45 watt. It's too strong, it's not good. It charges your camera, but you can't turn it on and power up the camera itself while you're recording. You need a 25 watt charger, and also some of the chargers are too weak and they don't charge your camera at all, so yeah, make sure you get the right one. Now let's look inside the cameras a little bit in order to explore one of the most important upgrades that has been added to the X-T4. Yes, you guessed it right, it is the IBIS. It gives you an extra 6.5 stop stabilization. That's similar to what you get with the best stabilized lenses on the market, except when you use a stabilized lens in combination with the IBIS, they all add up to a very decently stabilized image. It's super important for both stills and video recordings. Most reviewers would say there's no difference in image quality and low light performance between the two cameras, but I have to disagree. I think there's a slight improvement with the X-T4. It's not major, but definitely the X-T4 deals a little bit better with low light. The Fuji Godfather, Tech, did a video, an in-depth testing on low light performance. I will leave a link down below. And he found that the image was less grainy and it was a bit cleaner with the X-T4. But again, the difference is nothing major. And honestly, if you're into Fuji shooting, then you really should check his channel out because he's amazing. He educates everybody about everything Fuji related, so you definitely should check him out. So in final conclusion, if you're planning to do photography for the most part, then you should really consider buying the X-T3 and maybe get an extra 1 or 2 lenses. For the same price you can purchase an X-T4. And if you're more video focused and you want to be in front of the camera as well as behind, then you should maybe think about getting the X-T4 rather than the X-T3. Also, just check out the price difference in your own country and in your own location, and maybe you get a better deal on the X-T4. There's definitely the advantages: the flippy screen, the longer battery life, and the IBIS on the X-T4 are the 3 major differences. Other than that, it's almost the same camera, and there is not a lot of difference, you know. So if you want to save money and you don't want to worry about the IBIS, then you can always stick the camera onto a gimbal, which works just as well. When you use a gimbal, you're supposed to turn off the IBIS anyway, so take all that into consideration and make your own informed decision. And thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then consider subscribing. I'm gonna do a lot more Fuji related videos, reviews and comparisons and vlogs and POV style shootings and all that good stuff. So thank you again and see you in the next one. Bye.